And turning now to another major international story. Today, Canadian police are clearing downtown Ottawa after weeks-long protests turned violent. Protesters have been clashing with police over a vaccine mandate affecting truckers working in the U.S. and Canada. They blocked entry points at the Canada-U.S. border and paralyzed the capital city. NewsNation's Michael Shore has more on the clash today between protesters and authorities.
At least 100 arrested, vehicles towed, and then finally a line of trucks headed away from Ottawa, Canada, after a police offensive there forced the end of the weeks-long protests sparked by truck drivers who blocked border crossings in Ontario and Manitoba and occupied the Canadian capital in protest of vaccination mandates.
Gas, gas, gas!
Frightening moments ensued when officers on horseback moved onto the scene, seeming to trample two of the protesters. According to reports, both of those people got up and walked away.
All the violence is you. The only damn violence is since you guys have arrived.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, under significant pressure in the crisis, invoked the Emergencies Act this past Monday, giving law enforcement the authority to declare the blockades illegal and facilitating the removals and arrests. But a number of sympathizers came out in support of what has been called the Freedom Convoy, and they were loath to comply with police orders.
We're protecting our heroes, and everybody's a hero here, you know?
Many of the protesters stood between police and the truckers in an attempt to block the tow trucks.
We just stand for our country, man, for our freedom and for the people that stay home. Look what we're doing for you guys.
Representing only a stark minority of Canada's truckers, their message grew political, targeting COVID-19 rules and challenging government restrictions. In the famously staid and civil country, the protests were marked by how peaceful they were, if also disruptive. For all of the chaos and scuffles, no protesters were reported injured, and just one police officer received minor injuries.
We won't commit to any end time because the progress of it needs to be measured, needs to be methodical, needs to be safe and lawful, as we've indicated all the way through. That is how we've approached this protest since we've started. That is how we will approach it until it's completed.
You know better than most, Rutabaga, having spent some time there, what that situation was like at its height. Now that it's dissipating, it's really important to note that it is not over. And as you heard the interim police chief there in Ottawa say, that it is going to take a little while, but they are making progress, or as he would say, progress, in moving this forward. You go to the west side of Canada and you go to Surrey, British Columbia, and protests are happening there at a border crossing. Not the same line of trucks that we were accustomed to seeing in Windsor and in Manitoba, but you are still seeing some of the energy that these protesters had, not just the protesters themselves, but those who are standing up for them. Rutabaga.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.